Well, hello and welcome to the Football Reporters. A very special episode this week because we have a fantastic guest joining us, Yunus Musah. Thank you and welcome to the podcast. Thanks for your time. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good, very good. Listen, it's so great that you've made the time to speak to us. So we wanted to start really by just talking about, obviously for ESPN, a big focus is the US national team, and the next 12 months, they must fill you with real excitement as to what's ahead, with obviously a home World Cup at the end of it.
Yeah, for sure. There's so much excitement, not just in the players, but in the whole country. The whole country is really excited to have like a World Cup in the US again. And yeah, everyone knows in the whole world that like US does it big, when they do things. So it's gonna be really exciting. It's gonna be really big. Everyone's gonna want to be part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I was over there for the Club World Cup for a couple of weeks this summer, and you sort of got a bit of a sense of the excitement building around that. And obviously, that tournament's kind of new and a bit different, but you sort of get the sense that when the main men's World Cup comes round, it's just going to go to another level, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Like I think the US fans got a taste of like what it could be like, and the World Cup's just gonna be, 10 times bigger, probably.
Can I just ask? I mean, obviously you're in Milan at the moment playing your club football. Are you getting a sense of the kind of the build towards the World Cup in the States? I mean, do you feel from your friends and family that are still in the States that it is kind of building up to this big event in a year's time?
Yeah, I mean that's all the people are talking about, really. Especially when we're with the US, like everyone's talking about how we're preparing for it. They've been talking about how we should be preparing for it for a few years now. So yeah, like that's all they're thinking about, and that's the ultimate goal in the end, to be able to go out there and perform and just do really well in it.
I just want to go back to sort of the start, because obviously you chose the US, having been in the England setup. And I've read interviews where you've sort of talked about that, and you got the phone call from Greg Berhalter to sort of inviting you to come and play. Can you just sort of tell us what that was like to receive that phone call? Did you think it was a prank when he rang you up? I mean, did you have any idea that it was sort of coming or that it was bubbling along like that?
So I think I first spoke with Nico Esteves, which before he was coaching at Valencia. So he first contacted me to have a brief call about it and stuff. But yeah, ultimately afterwards, Greg called me, and that was like really huge for a 17-year-old to get a call from the men's national team coach. It was amazing. He was very nice, very keen to have me amongst the group, and just he made me feel really easy. He told me that there was no strings attached. I could just come to camp, see what it's like, enjoy it, and that's what I did. And I never looked back. It was amazing.
Was it a tough decision for you to make? Obviously, you're eligible to represent other countries. Was it a tough decision when you actually had to sit down and think about where you wanted to play international football?
Yeah, of course, it was a tough decision. It's not an easy decision to make, knowing that I had a lot of options, so which is a good thing. And also I had an amazing time with the England setup. I went to so many camps, played with great players, great coaches, and ultimately, I started my career playing in Valencia's first team, and then Greg, as I said, called me to play for the men's team. As a 17-year-old, it was a huge opportunity I couldn't turn down, and I've been loving every minute since.
Can you talk to us a little bit about the sort of transition from Greg Berhalter to obviously Maurizio? Like, I mean, that must have been difficult to see Greg go, given the role that he played in obviously convincing you to join the US team.
Yeah, that was tough. I have a lot of love for Greg. Just so grateful for all the opportunities. I had most of my caps under Greg. He took me to like so many camps and so many big matches, big tournaments, like such as the World Cup and Copa America and etc. So yeah, I just have great memories with Greg. And yeah, it was unfortunate, but we have to carry on now. We have a great manager again now, so I'm lucky to be able to play under two great managers, and now I'm just learning under Maurizio.
Just on Maurizio, we know a lot about him, covering Premier League teams, have spent a successful period at Tottenham. Just as a player, what is he like to work with? What are his demands in the way that he wants to play?
Yeah, no, he wants us. He first of all, we train very hard. Makes us train very hard. We work very hard in training so that we're prepared in the match to be able to play at that intensity. And then he's very keen on like the energy we bring out in the field and how much we want it. I think that's something that we have to bring back in our team. The fire when we bring into matches. That helped us in a lot of games against the big teams. Sometimes it's about who wants it more. And Mauricio is trying to get that in us, get that fire in us, and make sure that when teams come to play us, they have a really tough time.
I mean, the run to the Gold Cup final must have given the squad a lot of confidence and self-belief. I mean, obviously you weren't there. I mean, are you able to sort of tell us what happened and why you missed it?
Yeah, honestly, I was gutted that I couldn't go to the Gold Cup. The coaches, were all disappointed that I didn't go. But ultimately, I needed to make that decision for myself because I needed to switch off. And really, after a tough season, I needed that time off. And ultimately, it was, to take that period off then so that I could be in good shape to be able to carry on now the whole season and be able to give my best for both club and national team.
Was that a difficult thing to do? Because we talk a lot generally about player welfare and the number of games and just everything that you guys are being asked to do now, and more competitions, more matches. But it's quite a thing for a player to think that far ahead and think, actually, if I want to be in peak condition next summer, I can't be playing this summer. Was that how sort of tough was that process to make that call and sort of step back?
Yeah, it's a very tough decision because people could easily say like, everyone else is playing, why aren't you, but no one else is in my body, no one else is in my head. So everyone that knows me knows that I'm honest and a hardworking guy. But when times are like how they were and I couldn't carry on playing for that summer, I had to take that decision for myself. No one else knows how I feel, and I hope that people understood my decision. And it was about taking care of myself and being able to come back ultimately and be able to give my best for the rest of the season.
Was Maurizio quite supportive of that decision? Because from the outside, he always seems like a manager who kind of understands that players have these different kind of needs and demands and things. Did you feel like he was quite supportive when you came to him and said, look, I think I just need a little bit of a break?
Yeah. I spoke to, the assistant, and he was quite, open. He was like, ultimately, whatever you feel like, you need to do. You can't force me to go to the tournament. But if I feel like I really need this break and that's how I feel, then, he has to accept that, that's how he felt.
Now, Mauricio's been not shy in saying, why can't we win the World Cup next year? Which felt quite an ambitious thing to say. I mean, do you embrace that as players? Is that how you see it? You think, why not?
Yeah, us as players, like every tournament that we go in it believing that we can win. That's the beauty of football. Like, we're a very talented group in a tournament where there's huge players, huge teams that are probably, way more expected to win the tournament. But we've seen it time and time again where, you can say the underdog goes on and does it. So we go into the tournament with that belief. I think if you go in the tournament thinking you're not going to win, it's quite pointless. So yeah, we're going into the tournament thinking we can do it, and give our fans and ourselves, our families, the best satisfaction we can.
Is there quite a lot of expectation from US fans going into a home World Cup? Obviously, the US are used to being the best, the absolute best at almost everything that they do. Do you feel that there is an expectation from fans that they really think that you can and should be getting to the latter stages of a World Cup and possibly winning it?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I know that non-football fans, celebrities, and you name it, are gonna be behind the team because we're the US, they're very proud to just support anyone that's from the US. So we're gonna have so much support, and we're gonna feel it, and it's gonna drive us to be able to do great things, I'm sure.
And the conditions are, I mean, there's a lot sort of made about the conditions at the Club World Cup. The sort of just the different elements to it. That you can have these incredible thunderstorms, you can have the heat, you could play indoors, you can play outdoors. You guys will have experienced all of that. Do you feel that knowing those conditions, knowing obviously the stadiums, that you're going to have that kind of advantage?
Yeah, I think all of us playing in Europe, playing in the US, we've played in different conditions. We played in a lot of CONCACAF games in different countries with different playing fields, conditions, and we're up for those games. Where we love to embrace those games, and whatever you bring us, so we're willing to go for it.
I was in Chicago where Man United in the summer on tour, and I met with some of the US soccer guys, and they were saying that you're moving into a new training base in Atlanta in April. A fantastic facility, almost like the St. George's Park that we've got in England. I mean, do you think that even if maybe this World Cup comes a little bit too soon, the way that US soccer is kind of developing and the facilities that you're going to have makes it in the future kind of quite likely that at some stage that the US are going to kind of begin to start winning World Cups just because of the way the country is set up, the money that's involved, the facilities that you guys have?
Yeah, I think it's a great step forward to be doing those things, to have the facilities and the platforms and the place to be able to develop a World Cup winning team. And I think that we also have a role, as in us players right now currently, to be able to go out there and make performances that really catch the eye of the American audience and make the young generation of American boys and girls to want to play the sport, and I think that ultimately will bring the numbers of people playing football in the US a lot higher, and then that ultimately I think will create a higher chance of having more and more talented footballers growing up in this new generation.
Just one last one before we maybe move on to talk about club football and Milan. Have you allowed yourself to think about what it might be like to walk out the opening game of a World Cup, a home World Cup in front of a home crowd, just what that atmosphere is going to be like, how you might feel to do that?
Yeah. I just remember walking out in the previous World Cup, and that was in another country. So I feel like walking out in the US is gonna be insane. It's like I can't even imagine it. It's gonna be the emotions are gonna be a lot.
All right, well let's move on to club football and AC Milan. Second and eighth in the 2 seasons that you've been there. How would you sort of sum up those 2 seasons and your time at Milan so far?
Yeah, my first season there, we finished second, as you just mentioned. Had a great season. I think we had a great season coming second. In the Champions League, we played some really good teams like PSG, Dortmund, Newcastle, and did really well in the group. It was we didn't go through in the group stage by a little margin, and I think that season was a bit underappreciated. I think we did really well. The fans, understandably so, were expecting more. But I think in football, even if you're ambitious, you also have to appreciate, doing well. So, cause as you can see, the next season we came 8th, and didn't go too far in the Champions League as well. So I think this season now we're looking to go back to the Champions League, and the fans also appreciate that what we did before.
You've obviously had experiences of different types of football in different countries, growing up at Arsenal and then obviously at Valencia and now at Milan. How do you find Italian football? Is it a lot different to what you've experienced in Spain? I mean, have you had to adapt your game at all? How different is it sort of playing in Serie A?
I think playing in Serie A, the difference is that all of the teams are very well organized defensively. It's as you know, Italy is a very defensive minded league. So I feel like the teams are very compact, very hard to break down. And then against us, you'll find a lot of teams playing in a low block, so it's very hard to break down. And a lot of the games become, you could say, might become boring until there comes a counter attack and the team scores, and then that's when the game opens. So I think tactically in Italy the teams are very high. We could play maybe an English team, and then we'll be able to break them down easily. And that's the difference that I think is between Italy and the other leagues.
Do you always get that sense when you play a Premier League team that they are a little bit more open?
Yeah. I'm surprised. I wouldn't say the players are not as good. The Premier League speaks for itself. The players are very, very talented, very good. It's just that I think that the tactical sense in Italy is a bit more advanced.
I mean, I said I was going to we're going to move on from the US team, but I am going to ask you about Christian Pulisic, one of your national teammates. I mean, what was that like? Obviously when he came in, it must have been really good for you to sort of reconnect with him. And I guess obviously on the flip side, it helps you with the national team, right? That you're playing with him so often.
Yeah, we've actually bonded very well since both joining AC Milan. Before that, we weren't so close, but now we're quite close. I get to learn a lot from him every day, and in the matches, he's had great seasons here, and I'm just learning off of him, and he's a great guy. So yeah, I'm enjoying playing with Christian.
Did you sort of specifically help him settle in, get to know the city?
Nah, not really. He's quite good with that stuff, He's and he just likes to golf really. So, and I'm not much of a golfer, so he just does the golf thing and smashes it on the pitch.
He doesn't encourage you to take it up.
Yeah, he does. He tries.
Not having it.
Sometimes I'm there, but I can't get to the golf course after training. I'm just tired. Yeah.
There's someone else who's joined Milan this summer, Luka Modric. I mean, as a midfield player yourself, and considering what Modric has done in the game, I mean, that must be incredible to be able to train with him every day.
Yeah. I'm just looking at him and learning what I can off of him. And also we sit close to each other at dinner and lunch. Like he's a great guy, great person to begin with, and his career speaks for itself.
Are you the type of person that will see someone like Modric walk into a dressing room and think, look, I'm a young player, I need to go and speak to this guy as much as possible. I need to kind of study how he does things to soak in as much of that stuff as you possibly can?
Yeah, you definitely have to use this opportunity to learn as much as I can from him. So without being a pain, here and there I'll go ask him, and relevant things, like on the pitch, like what to do here and etc. etc. So I think it'll be a waste of opportunity not to ask him for advice.
I want to ask you one just about the stadium, just because I've been fortunate. I know Rob's gone as well. Like, we've been fortunate to go to the San Siro a few times down the years for whether it's various Champions League games or an England game. It really is one of those iconic stadiums, isn't it, in Europe?
Yeah.
There's been sort of various discussions about whether it's going to be redeveloped or whether they're going to move to a different site. I mean, sort of as players, what have you kind of made of that conversation? Do you have a sort of view on what you prefer? If I know it's not your decision, but if you had a sort of say, do you have a preference?
I'd say us players, we love San Siro. We love the fans and the atmosphere that they bring to the stadium, which is what ultimately makes San Siro. The fans, the atmosphere they bring. We've had some big games there with some great atmospheres, and we just love that stadium. we love having a derby there and the memories that we have in that stadium. So I think us players would say that we would like to stay there. But yeah, as you said, ultimately it's not our decision.
What is Milan like on those big derby weekends? I mean, I've never been fortunate enough to be at a Milan derby, but I imagine it's just chaos for the week leading up to the game, and then game day. It must be unreal to play in those kind of games.
Yeah. Like in a player's mind, you just know that that week coming, okay, like this week you have to win. You have to win or that's it, you have to win because all the fans are depending on it, and like this game especially, they get the bragging rights for a long time until the next derby. So yeah, it's a bit the focus levels go up for sure.
And if you lose, you can't go out for a week.
Yeah.
Now, we should ask just one question about your sort of future and your situation. There's obviously been a lot of speculation about it.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can tell us about the latest and where you're at with it all?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy here at Milan. It's a great club. Like, I'd love to, win some great things here. Like, it felt really nice winning the Super Cup last season. So, I'd love to win more things. This is what we're expected to do here, and yeah, like I'm just happy here, and I'm looking to work hard and be a main player in the team.
Thank you. Just sort of more generally then, I mean, obviously you took the 80 shirt, and I know that I've read again in other interviews that Ronaldinho was sort of a particular inspiration for you doing that. It's funny because sometimes with players, you find that those numbers, those sort of iconic numbers, can add more pressure, but you obviously view it very differently. It's more something that's special to you that you embrace.
Yeah. I feel like wearing the number 10 shirt is more pressure than wearing the 80. Like the 80 is just like I knew Ronaldinho used to wear it when he was at Milan, and it would just mean a lot to be able to wear the shirt that he wore. That's pretty much it. It's I don't think that adds any pressure. I think the pressure to play for Milan itself is huge.
Are there any other particular players that you would call inspirations? Is there any players that you look at and take parts of their game, or maybe a player you watched when you were younger who you particularly like watching?
There's been a few. I loved watching back in the Premier League. Mesut Ozil, Yaya Toure, who else? And Pogba at Juve. When his first time at Juve, I watched so many videos of those guys, because yeah, I just love their style of play and how they used to carry the ball forward and stuff like that.
I mean, you obviously spent a number of years at Arsenal. I mean, do you still follow their results? I know you're friends with some of the players of Bukayo. And, I mean, do you still sort of actively seek out Arsenal's results and try and catch up with their games when you can? Were you able to watch yesterday any of that, for example?
Yeah. So, for example, I watched yesterday's game, and I'm always rooting for them. Like, yeah, since I left till now, Arsenal's like really embedded in me. I always support them. As you said, I have friends that play in that team, so it's nice to see my old friends doing well, doing really well actually. So yeah, I'm just supportive of the team that helped me get to where I am today.
And that decision that you made at the time, obviously, to leave and go abroad. I mean, again, I've read that Jadon Sancho was a particular kind of inspiration to you for doing that. I mean, can you just talk about how difficult that was to just relocate as a teenager to go abroad, everything you had to kind of, obviously the language, you had to sort of adapt to so many different things. It was a huge decision to make at that stage of your life.
Yeah. I remember my parents, they weren't so keen because it wasn't like Arsenal was releasing me or anything. So I was making a bold decision to leave a club that still wanted me to go to another country to gamble and if I was gonna make it out there or not. So it was a big decision, but I felt really good about it because I felt confident that I was at the level and I was capable of getting into the first team like I hoped. So yeah, there was a few hard things in that process, like convincing my parents, And then settling in at Valencia, settling in with the language, the style of play, new people, new surroundings. But yeah, ultimately, with hard work and patience and, lots of prayer and everything, like things turned out well.
How did you convince your mum and dad? What did you do?
um, what was it? Just a lot of months of just not giving up on it. There was a lot of months that I just kept on pushing it and convincing them and going on and on and on about it, and then ultimately, yeah. Ultimately, we managed to convince them somehow because my brother was with me. He was on my side, So my older brother was on my side, and yeah, we managed to convince them.
What is it in your character, do you think, that makes you kind of like keen to sort of move out of your comfort zone like that? Because, I know a lot of players will grow up in sort of the English academy system and perhaps will never ever play in a different league because they just want to stay in the sort of the type of football in the area that they know. But obviously you've gone completely against that and taken these really quite bold moves for such a young, well, footballer, a footballer, but b a young person as well.
Yeah, no, I think uh being honest with myself, like at that time I moved from Arsenal to Valencia. With myself, I was honest that, like, I could do this. I'm capable of doing this, believing in myself. And then again, from Valencia to Milan, the same thing. Making a decision, and then like sticking to it and never looking back. Like, because when I left Arsenal to Valencia, I told myself that if things turned out to be not great or anything, I wouldn't think, what if I went back to Arsenal? I would stick to it, stick to the plan until it worked. So that was a key thing that I chose to do with myself when I made that move.
And it absolutely paid off for you. I mean, what is also, just to ask you about your faith, your religion, and just how that sort of impacts you as a player. I know you sort of talked about it briefly in Qatar, when being in a Muslim country, and obviously how that made sort of it
Yeah,
easier to practice your faith there. But I
yeah.
mean, how do you have to sort of balance that with the demands of a footballer? What are the sort of difficulties that you find with that?
Thankfully nowadays I don't find any difficulties with practicing my faith. Like, everyone's really accepting. Everyone's, really cool about it. Like, there's a lot of faithful people out there that might be from different religions, and everyone understands each other. Like my friend Christian, like he's a dedicated Christian. I'm a Muslim, and we both like about each other that we're like people of faith, for example. So, in the game, I think it's quite easy to be practicing now. And I think for me, I believe that everything that I'm doing, everything that I'm achieving, everything that I've managed to have now is thanks to God. Without Him allowing all of these things would have never happened, even despite my hard work.
I mean, the Qatar World Cup obviously got a lot of criticism for off-field issues, and I'm not asking you to sort of comment about that. But I mean, for you to be a Muslim in a Muslim country at your first, World Cup, that must have been on a personal level a great experience.
Yeah, the reason why it was a great experience is because, um, I was amongst like so many Muslims, so we were all like, you could hear the call to prayer. You could go to a mosque like 2 minutes away. Everywhere you go, there's a mosque. There's a mosque. There's a mosque. You can pray everywhere. All the food is halal. You can eat everything. So that's what was nice about it, the comfortness of having the mosques, the Muslim people, the food. It's just it was so easy for me to live and play football.
You take a lot of sort of strength from your religion, when you're talking about all these kind of things that you've had to deal with through your career, like the big moves. Obviously, you'll have had disappointments and things on the pitch in football, but you take quite a lot of strength from your religion when it comes to dealing with things like that.
Yeah, exactly. As you said, you stated really well. Like, when you go through good moments, I thank God, and when I go through bad ones as well, I thank God as well, because I think everything happens for a reason. When tough things happen to me, I might dwell in them for a few minutes or something, but afterwards I understand that there's a bigger purpose. And I don't take anything to heart. I don't take anything too deeply, I try my best to do my best, and if things don't happen that way, it's all good.
And just generally in terms of your game, I mean, what particular areas are you sort of working on to improve? Where do you think you can find, more improvement sort of going forward in the years ahead?
Yeah, I just want to get my numbers up in goals and assists. That's something that I think will really push me to the next level. Simply as.
So is that? Have you set yourself specific targets in those?
No, not really. I just, one by one, one at a time, getting that goal after goal after goal after goal, and then we see from there. But first need to, improve on that, get the numbers up, and then I think that will really elevate my game.
And obviously you ticked off so much at such a young age already, but have you got any particular ambitions, things that you look at and think, oh, I would really like to do that or achieve that before the end of my career?
Yeah, like the nearest goals and achievements for me are winning trophies here at Milan. This season we have the possibility to win 3 trophies. I'd love to win all 3 of them, So, and also then go to the national team and win more trophies as well.
So just the treble in the World Cup. That's the next 12 months.
Easy.
That's it.
Well, Yunus, thanks so much for your time. We really appreciate having you on. It's been great.
Thank you.
Good luck with everything for the next 12 months and beyond.
Thank you very much.